Because we used to cover Godzilla versus Kong quite a bit. And we cover the Monsterverse quite a bit because, as you all know, I'm a big King Kong fan. Miguel is a big Godzilla fan. And I saw this story on Screen Rant. Godzilla vs. Kong sequel working title reportedly revealed as Son of Kong.
So they are going to do it.
The Godzilla vs. Kong sequel reportedly has a working title, Son of Kong, and it hints at the direction that this Monsterverse movie will take. Now, we kind of discussed this a while ago. Like, there was a leak and a bunch of rumors about a Son of Kong story that Adam Wingard was very interested in doing. But our take on it was like, why would you do that? Like, are you really going to introduce another massive gorilla when Kong has only had 2 movies, Godzilla's only had 3 movies? Like, why would you throw another Kong into the mix at this point? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And I'm kind of curious to see your thoughts, Miguel, because if this is really a sequel to Godzilla versus Kong, not only is this a movie about King Kong's child, but you also have to have Godzilla in this story somehow. So I'm kind of like, what are we doing here? Like, I'm a little
why
confused.
Are they fighting
so
him?
Yeah, like, why? Like, I don't like what's gonna happen. So
maybe this isn't necessarily about King Kong's son. Maybe it's about this Kong in particular and learning about his history and inside in the world, in that world. Because you saw that obviously it's a civilization. You know what I mean?
I'll drink to that.
It's obviously a civilization down there, and obviously they've fought Kongs, and obviously he has a kingdom in there, and what's it called? A chair, a throne.
Oh yeah, a throne.
There was a throne for him.
Actually, that's very interesting because the big rumor is that they're really going to explore Hollow Earth. Like, Hollow Earth is going to be the main playing field in this film.
So who knows? Maybe this is just a play on like it being Kong having another son. But again, there's no other fucking he can't produce a child because it's a dude. So like where are we going with that?
Indie Phantom, yes, there is an older flick called Son of Kong. It's actually a sequel to let me think. Is it a sequel to King Kong Lives? It's been a while since I watched the originals. But there is a sequel, and that original is about King Kong's child. Like, he ended up finding a mate, and he has a child that's like a 16-foot, like a 14, 15, 16-foot version of the big Kong. You know what I mean? So there actually is another film. So let's read this article.
Exactly.
Man.
So why would we want to watch that again? Because we already got adolescent Kong.
Yeah.
In Kong Skull Island. He was an adolescent in that movie. So why would we need to see that all over again? It makes no particular sense.
Yeah. So this article, it has been reported that the working title for the sequel to Godzilla vs. Kong will be Son of Kong. In 2014, Warner Brothers decided to make a Godzilla film for the first time since the massive failure that was the TriStar Pictures Godzilla over 15 years earlier. We're still dying to do a commentary on that film. The 2014 Godzilla grossed over $500 million worldwide and was considered a massive success, unlike the earlier iteration. They really like to dog on that 98 film, man. They really do.
Because it's sad.
This led Warner Brothers. Listen, I'm going to tell you, though, it's a great monster movie. It's a terrible Godzilla movie.
There you go.
This led Warner Brothers to make Kong Skull Island a sequel to Godzilla, which would be the beginnings of a new cinematic universe called the Monsterverse. The series of films accrued a massive fan base that wanted nothing more than to see the two meet in a feature film. And we know this because they even flat out said that the entire point of doing that original Godzilla film was because Warner Brothers knew that they wanted to pit Kong and Godzilla up against each other.
Mm-hmm.
which makes sense. I mean, that's two of the biggest IPs in cinema history. So, like, duh. I mean, you're going to make bank off of that. In 2021, fans received the ultimate kaiju battle they had been begging for in the film Godzilla vs. Kong. The film saw Godzilla and Kong battle for dominance as scientists tried to find ways to stop the two alphas from killing each other. Yada, yada, yada. We know how that worked. However, in the film's climax, Godzilla and Kong must stop Mechagodzilla by working together before it kills the both of them. The film would end with Kong heading back to be the alpha of the Hollow Earth, while Godzilla stays on the surface and retains his title of King of the Monsters. With no post-credit scene or cliffhangers in the film, it was unclear if this would be the franchise's final installment, or if there were more films in the works for the Monsterverse. As reported by Production Weekly via the Kaiju News outlet, a sequel to Godzilla vs. Kong is in the works with the working title Son of Kong. While this film is being billed as a sequel, there is no word on whether or not Godzilla and Kong will be exchanging blows once more, or if it's set to focus specifically on Kong and the Hollow Earth. Production Weekly also reports that Adam Wingard may be returning to direct, but his participation in other projects still leaves that unclear. This is an official tweet. If you're watching with us on YouTube, you can see the Kaiju News outlet Twitter. Adam Wingard will reportedly be returning to direct the new Monsterverse film that is currently titled Godzilla. What? I hate myself. Son of Kong. I can't read, according to Production Weekly. With the working title Son of Kong, there is plenty of speculation as to what the sequel will be about. It's unlikely that the film will follow the plot of the 1933 film of the same name because it's very similar to the events of Kong Skull Island, featuring Kong's son protecting a group of people from dinosaurs on Skull Island. Additionally,
Exactly.
the events, what? Exactly
I said
what?
exactly. It makes no sense for it to be just
Yeah.
a complete rehash
Like
of
a
Skull Island.
remake of the 1933 Son of Kong?
No, but it's the fact that that plot synopsis right there, that small little synopsis, is the same as Son of as Kong Skull Island that
Oh,
of the
yeah.
first introduction. It's the same
Yeah.
thing. You don't want to
Yeah, I
rehash
agree.
that out again.
Yeah. Additionally, the events of the original Son of Kong take place after the death of King Kong, following his attack on New York, which hasn't yet occurred in the Monsterverse. The only aspect of this film that may be used is having Kong's son be a smaller albino ape in order to not make any drastic changes to the character, but nothing is concrete at this time. The fact that Son of Kong will likely take place on Hollow Earth is where all the room for speculation stems from. Wingard himself has stated that he feels there is a lot more that can be done with the Hollow Earth, as it is revealed to be the origin of all Titans. That means we might very well see Kong team up with his son in a Godzilla vs. Kong sequel. I don't like that at all. To fight a brand new Titan who resides in Hollow Earth. While everything about this Godzilla vs. Kong sequel is still speculation and that Son of Kong is only the working title, it's exciting to know the Monsterverse will be returning shortly and will probably feature King Kong's son.
It's not exciting. Fuck off.
Yeah, listen, I don't know. I'm really not that excited for that. Like, if they're really going to do a team up between King Kong and his son, like, you're going to tell me he didn't know he had a son? Like, really? Really? What? Like, that just, it doesn't, unless, like you said, I do like the angle where you're like, this is the son of King Kong, you know what I mean? Of King Kong of Hollow Earth. Like,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. I dig that. I don't know. I
like that idea
okay.
better.
It's okay.
Adam Wingard hitting you up.
I was already kind of weird about the whole Godzilla's the god of the earth and Kong is the god of Hollow Earth, but like I don't know, because I don't even really dig that. You know what I mean? But it seems kind of outlandish to me, like kind of wild and crazy. You know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not sure. I would, like I said, I would be okay if, like you said, if this is the son we're talking about, and this maybe this is the story, which, I mean, it could be a rights issue. Maybe this is the story that deems him King Kong. You know what I mean? We're still waiting on that. We've still never heard him. There was the cheap line where they were like, Kong is king or whatever they said in Godzilla versus Kong, but like
Oh my god.
I feel like it's a rights thing because why wouldn't they call him King Kong? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like that's his name. Like why would you only call him Kong? So
I think this would be
I'm not
the I
sure.
think this will be the movie where he is officially established as King Kong, because
Yeah.
I really fucking hope that this is just a story about how this Kong is the son of of King Kong and Hollow Earth.
Of King Kong.
Yeah, of King Kong.
Of
Not
Super
the
King
king, the
Kong.
King Kong. Yeah. So I hope this is just about him accepting his place and
Yeah.
Hollow Earth, accepting his throne in Hollow Earth, because
Do you
that's where we're
think
going.
Godzilla should have a part in this story at all, or this should really
No,
just be about Kong?
this is just better just be about Kong. I swear to God, if you put my boy G in this thing, I swear to God, that movie is going to be over in seconds.
Bro, it's like Kong is doing his thing. Kong's fighting Titans down there, whatever, and he's being a badass. And G just sticks his head down. He's like, "Hey,
Keep it down there.
I just want."
That's all I
He's like, "I just
what
want to
else?
make sure y'all are keeping it real down here, and I got to go back up here. Be good."
Yep,
He just like lifts his head back up, you know.
pretty much.
I don't know, man. Indie Phantom. Now I'm not sure that they ever called him King Kong in any film. They do call him King Kong in the others, but in this, because I believe Miguel, you might know this better than me. I think is it Warner Brothers? Yes, Warner Brothers is only. I don't believe they actually own the rights to King Kong. I think Universal still owns. I don't know. It's weird. Kong and Godzilla are both strange because they've been lent. Like Toho owned them both at some point, but then Toho sold Kong to Universal, which is how Peter Jackson's film came about. But somehow Warner Brothers also has right. Like I don't know how the rights breakdown is, but we can confirm like in this current Monsterverse, they have never referred to him as King Kong.
Warner Bros. Owns King Kong.
Okay, so they actually own him. Does Warner Brothers own Godzilla? Or does Toho still own Godzilla?
Toho still owns Godzilla.
Okay, so what is Toho just lending them rights to it to do these
I
films?
think so.
Because, I mean, I assume Toho is making bank off of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What studio was it? Warner Brothers that made the 1998 the Matthew Broderick Godzilla?
So hold on. Toho is the owner of the Godzilla character and has licensed the rights to Legendary for this series as a natural byproduct of their long-term relationship on the film franchise. So Toho owns the Godzilla, but they, how can I say this? Sublease Godzilla to Legendary, pretty much.
Yeah.
So that's usually how that works. Yeah, it's literally Toho Company, 1954 to present.
Yeah. Interesting, man. I don't know. It's weird how the rights for Kong and Godzilla have always been kind of strange. You know what I mean? They've always been like they bounce back and forth for like both. For both characters, like they just bounce back and forth between studios. And
well,
you know,
it's like the fact the fact that like a studio can like offer license rights for them to do like their own take on it. That's usually I think that's what they did for TriStar, I think, for Godzilla.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much what they did. They offered
it was
the license.
Yeah, you're right. It was TriStar.
They licensed the right to use. They gave them a license to have the right to use the name Godzilla, and that's pretty much the way it works. And Toho just continues making bank. They get a percentage of every single movie that comes out in the States. So
yeah, that's fair. Indie Phantom says, which one did you guys prefer? Kong Skull Island, I think, was decent, but I actually preferred the Peter Jackson King Kong from 2005, especially the extended cut. Dude,
I think both are good in their own right.
They're both good, but listen, for me at least, I don't think Kong Skull Island even holds a candle to Peter Jackson's King Kong. Peter Jackson's King Kong was
an epic in and of itself. It wasn't even a monster movie. It was an epic.
I would put Peter Jackson's King Kong in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. Like, I adore that movie. Like, that's one of those movies, like, me personally, like, that's one of, like, you know how you have those movies as a kid that, like, you can remember seeing it for the first time and it just completely blew you away. Like, that movie was one of those movies. Like, I remember seeing that in the movie theater and just being just being completely like just taken back by like the scope of that story. I mean, literally, like the end of that movie when he's at the top of the Empire State Building and like he's bleeding and like it's very obvious that he's dying, and the planes like circle around to make one last stand. And like the other thing is like the cinematography and the way that movie looked. Like, you have to remember at the time that was the most expensive movie ever made. That movie broke records for a lot of reasons. Like, it was a really big deal because the CGI, like, you know, everybody freaked out when Avatar came out, when James Cameron's Avatar came out, because, you know, the CGI was so top notch and it was so new age and it was like new technology. Same thing with King Kong. When King Kong came out in 2005, that, I mean, you have to admit, honestly, some of the CGI in Peter Jackson's Kong beats
Still holds
some of the
up.
CGI from today.
Yeah.
Like, it looks it looks amazing. But I
Like
mean, like the
I was looking at the CGI for like Moon Knight because I just saw it. Which, by the way, fucking check it out. But the chase scene and that scene right there, the chase scene in that episode, CGI really wasn't all that good.
yeah,
It really wasn't.
yeah. I don't know.
But
Like,
and that just goes to show like how much money they invested in the editing and the
yeah,
CGI of that movie. Because you know why? Because they wanted to create one simple masterpiece, and
yeah,
that was Peter Jackson's King Kong. Now, when I say that Kong Skull Island and Peter Jackson's King Kong are good in their own right, still stand by it. Kong Skull Island, it's a great movie. I like it
yeah.
personally because
I
I
like
love
it
seeing
too.
Kong. It's
I
a great
just,
iteration of Kong. Peter Jackson's King Kong, bro, that is an epic. It's not a monster movie. It's just an
yeah.
epic adventure
I mean,
that
like
just so happens to be about King Kong.
I put that in the same category as I put a Dune, or as I put, like, you know, these big epic sci-fi films. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
would put that in the same category. I think it belongs in the same category.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jack Black as Carl Denham, genius. Would have never thought of it, but genius. You
Yeah.
know, Adrian Brody as Jack, fantastic. What's her name? Zandero.
She plays as King Atlanta.
God, what's her name? Why am I not thinking? Why am I not thinking right?
I don't know, man. It
Naomi Watts.
is
I don't know why.
Naomi
No,
Watts.
I don't know
Yeah.
why I
No,
couldn't
that's
think of
not.
Naomi Watts.
That's not Queen Atlanta. Fuck me.
I don't know why I could not think of Naomi Watts.
Did you know Andy Serkis plays as King Kong?
Yes, I did.
That's why it's such a good movie.
Yeah. And he just did the motion capture.
Yeah. He
But
plays
it's
King
still
Kong.
great, man. Yeah, dude, Miguel loves the pit sequence when they're in the pit and all the bugs are coming out. You
Bro is
said
by
that.
far one of my biggest fear. Sierra is like really scared of like bugs, and I always tell her that like bugs are really cool and like I don't mind them. But that scene, the pit scene, is by far a deep fear of mine. Because like it's the fact that like it shows a grasshopper, but you know how we see grasshoppers, and some people are scared of grasshoppers that are this big. But
Those
imagine one
grasshoppers were
the
this
size of a
big.
hound, the size of a hound, just on your face with pinchers. Doesn't matter if that thing is an herbivore or whatever, it will eat you. That's fucking scary.
Yeah.
It's fucking scary.
I don't know. Well, it's funny because like that movie feels like an epic, and it's got the gross, weird bug stuff, but it's got the big, cool dinosaur fight scenes.
Mm-hmm.
But like at the same time, like the story is so well done and the characters are so well done. Like literally, that's what I was saying before. At the end of that movie, like the way the sunset looks or the sunrise looks on the Empire State Building, there's a moment where the planes circle around and the guy flying the plane actually goes,
Yeah, because he feels bad.
like he looks taken back because Kong is bleeding out and Anne is standing under him and she's like sobbing and she's screaming no. And it's like, okay, he's dying. Like you can tell he's dying. And when he goes and he's like that's the thing about Kong is like I know Godzilla is stronger. Like it's like Michael versus Jason. Like everybody's always like, is Michael Myers like who would win, Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees? And it's like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how great you think Michael Myers is. Jason's always gonna win. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, Godzilla's always gonna win. But the thing about Kong is Kong will not go down without a fight. Like he is gonna go down swinging, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like in that movie, he goes down swinging. Like, and like the scene where he actually like falls off the Empire State Building, like he holds on long enough to look at her, and she like she hugs his hand, and then his eyes roll back and he falls. And like that scene, like actually brings me to tears every time I see it because it's so well done and the music is so well done. Like it just everything about it, man. Like it's so good. It's amazing, man. It's absolutely amazing. Indie Phantom, I would love to be, I would be down for a Godzilla 98 commentary. I read a decent book on the making of that and how it kind of flopped. I was just about to watch Moonfall, which is from the same director. Yeah, I haven't seen Moonfall. One of the things we want to do,
it's just the fact that
hopefully
he didn't want to make it.
Yeah, he really didn't. We actually have a video about that on our channel too.
Yep.
Roland Emmerich did not want to make Godzilla, but basically he wanted to do another film, and they were like, "Well, if you do Godzilla, we'll give you this other movie if you do Godzilla." So he was kind of like, okay, so he was kind of thrown into that, but what was I saying?
You see what happens when a movie is studio driven?
Yeah, right.
Not good things.
But yeah, we do want to do one of the things we've talked about since the very beginning is doing a commentary or a watch along episode on King Kong 2005 and Godzilla 98, because I know a lot of people hate it. I actually enjoy Godzilla 98 for what it is. I mean, it's not a fantastic Godzilla movie, but like I do appreciate it though. I like it. It's fun. It's a really fun movie. There's y'all know I'm a Green Day fan. There's a really dope version of Brain Stew with the Godzilla roars because they remixed it for the soundtrack. Because in the 90s, we got to have dope soundtracks. That's just the way we roll.
No, in the 90s, it's got to be like a pop punk band always playing in the soundtrack.
Right? It's got to be. If you don't have a punk band on the soundtrack, then you're not doing it right. But yeah, I enjoy that movie. So that's one of the things we've talked about. So.